Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our day 4 of this workshop. So, let's quickly recap what we have covered so far. Over the past few days, we introduced with core AWS services, which are very essential for cloud computing. We also explored compute resources, then different storage options like S3 and databases. We created our RDS, relational data service, and together we went yesterday. In yesterday's session, we have created AWS account and also set our RDS database. Okay, we also learn how to manage and how to terminate instances securely. This is very important, otherwise it will charge. As it is in free tier, we have registered for the free tier, but you need to terminate after your use. So in today's session, we are going to talk about how to launch EC2 instance. Like EC2 is basically to create virtual server in cloud, right? So with which is very important, like when you want to host any application, when you want to run any analysis, and many more things we can do. So we will walk through the process of how we can launch, how we can configure and connect to our own EC2 instance. But before that, let's understand some theory like networking and security, how we can use this with this AWS. So let me share this PPT. Okay, so first thing, what is networking and why it is important? So Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, that is Amazon VPC. So VPC is Virtual Private Cloud. Okay, you can see here Amazon VPC. Then there are private network space in Amazon Cloud. So this basically enable user to create an isolated network. So isolated network within AWS cloud means when you want to create or when you want to fetch like full control over that network, so that you can use through IP address range, or you can use through subnet, route tables, even different security settings we can do for this. So basically VPC allows for let's take example for bioinformatic application, so we can run this for securing the application, or even we can isolate the environment, which is very crucial for like when you want to manage any sensitive data, sensitive genomic data, or any health data, patient data, cancerous data, right? These all things we can handle. So this, for these all things we need to follow some privacy regulations, that is HIPAA. I think we discussed this yesterday, right? This is health data. So in bioinformatics like Amazon VPC, this facilitates this all secure data transfer between different instances or different databases. So isolation or isolating computing resources for high performance tasks we can achieve. And also data privacy will be there. So by setting this VPC, researchers or bioinformaticians can safely run their workflow, can safely execute their task regarding genome sequencing or analysis, even collaboration without taking any risk. If we are working with public internet, then these all things we can achieve. So subnet is basically subnet, like in Amazon VPC, is a logical subdivision for this VPC IP address range. Means when you organize or when you isolate resources, and that resource is based on the access requirement or access need or any network requirement. So this subnet help to define this internet accessibility, or simply we can say categorization, like public and private subnet. Okay. So public subnets are like, um, when we are configured to allow this particular internet access, like IGW is there, Internet Gateway. So these instances within that public subnets can communicate with the internet, and also making these subnets which are suitable for resources that can we can fetch, or that need to publicly accessible. Like simple example, web server or API you can take as an example. But in private subnet, so private subnet do not directly access that internet service, and also associated with gateway, that is internet gateway. Okay, so internet gateway means instead, like suppose let's assume like instead some instances in private subnets are accessible only from that VPC or VPC or direct connect we need. So, and access the internet indirectly. Suppose NAT gateway for outgoing traffic, we can use this. Okay, so keep them hidden like from other access or external access. So which need updates, which need download permissions. So in bioinformatics, suppose let's take example like which is essential for isolation, which is essential for sensitive data processing, some databases which need to be keep in private subnets from that public facing application like web interface in public subnets. Okay, so this process enables security, also controlled access which is based on requirement. Okay, then here you can see infrastructure, that is internet gateway infrastructure. So these are some components. Communication, you can see the arrow, so you'll get an idea how it exactly works. So they all work together, like they all work together to allow or to enable secure communication. And this is a network and handle the network traffic, like for instance EC2. And let's take this first internet gateway, that in short it is called as a IGW gateway. So this internet gateway is component that enable instance within that public subnet, and it helps to connect internet. So this is like a bridge between VPC and internet, right? So and also helps to control the traffic to reach the resource which is required public access. Simple example, web services. Okay, so when we work this gateway or IGW, so this is attached to VPC or root table. So that root table associated with subnet, and that include this IGW. Okay. Then there is a next root table. Sorry. So root table, they direct traffic the subnet like IGW and NAT gateways and other endpoints, anything. So these subnets associated with this root table, and they include the rule which are specify traffic. So it is like destination IP, suppose, which is based on destination IP. If we know this, so suppose example, some public subnets having their route which are directing internet bound traffic, IGW, and while private subnets use this NAT gateway, so if they want to access internet without allowing this connection from it. Okay, then there is a network ACL. So network ACL is network access control list. ACL is access control list. So this is like a firewall for this all subnet levels. Firewall is like additional layer for security. Okay, when you want to control traffic to and from both way, so they have to follow some rules like to whom give like access, like allow or deny, inbound or unbound. These all things they need to handle. So these NACLs, they, we can say these are stateless, means they need to evaluate first what is incoming and outgoing traffic, and they will segregate this, separate it, and then they will create broad subnet level security control. So this is important step. Then subnets, actual subnet is a partition of this VPC's IP address range, like EC2 instance, very popular example, EC2 instances, and within this VPC they deployed the subnets. So subnet can be public and they are associated with IGW, or if they are private, so we can directly interact with, or through internet access we can access these all services. So public subnets are mainly or typically used for resources which are publicly required or need public exposure, where private subnets are for sensitive data like databases which are secret or sensitive, which don't want to share with anyone. Then there are security groups. SG stands for security groups. So security groups means like a firewall are there, firewall at the instance level, and they manage the traffic. So for that, suppose let's take example EC2 instances. So they are very stateful and also inbound that traffic which is allowed, and also return the traffic which is uh, allowed for explicit rules or explicit public. Okay, so these security groups able to filter the data, and that is based on protocols, that is based on port ID, IP ID. So this is ideal for verification or fine security, like specific instances, like very useful and very popular SSH, secure shell. So that's shell we have to use, and HTTP as well we can take. HTTP request will be there for some IP address. These all things are required: SSH access and HTTP request. Okay, then there is a EC2 instance. So EC2 instances are virtual servers. We already learned about EC2 instance. Today we'll see hands-on how to launch EC2 instance through AWS. So this is a virtual server in AWS cloud. And when we launch this VPC, so each instance inherit the properties, whatever we are launching. And according to that, they acquire the rules which are defined by the subnets, which are defined by the root table, even NACLs, security groups. Okay. So this is a typical setup, and web server run these all things in a public subnet. But for all these things, we need internet access. Right. So while database or data analysis service we are running on this private subnets, so there are restriction access, there is a security level. These all things are there. Okay. Then elastic load balancing, ELB. So ELB is again AWS service, and that is like distributed for traffic control or traffic access multiple EC2 instances. If there are multiple workload, then we can stretch it and adjust it. Okay, so scalability is there, fault tolerance is there, and ELB act as a front end controller, means automatically balance the load. Like here you can see in image how it handle the traffic, like maintain consistent performance and high availability for all these application. Okay, so again in ELB, like elastic load balancing, there are some key types like application load balancer, ALB is there. If handling network, then network load balancer, gateway load balancer. So these are different types in ELB, and there are separate application layers. Like suppose let's take example ALB. ALB is there, that is application load balancer, which need layer 7, means need optimized HTTP, HTTPS traffic, so URL path, these all things are required. In networking means when basically when we want to handle application for high performance low latency, like TCP UDP traffic handling. This is basically real time data processing. So, and gateway is like when we want to manage, when we want to scale network applications, as in previous slides we already checked this firewall or any deep package. These all things handled by gateway load balancer. Means network security. Then this is DNS. You can see here DNS stands for domain name system. So domain name system is again global network system, and that is translate human readable domain names, like for example IP addresses that computer use for each other for transfer the data on internet. If you use that IP address and transfer, suppose you're connected with Linux system, then we can use this, and some of you might use already this, how to transfer the data through IP address. So in AWS, this route 53, you can see here route 53, which is managed by DNS service, means it allows user to route end users for application which are hosted AWS global infrastructure. Okay, so DNS is very crucial in directing the traffic to resources in that specific suppose let's take example geographical location. Okay, so it improves the performance, it improves the means it take care of redundancy and all those things. So Here you can see the regions mentioned: Nigeria, Singapore. Let's take example, as we have set Mumbai region. So if you have set Mumbai, or you can also combine the regions, both regions we can set at a time. If you have application resource which deployed in Mumbai and Virginia. So in AWS region, with help of DNS, like DNS basically help direct this closer to the region, and whatever the depending or availability or load handling, it will take care of these regions. Some application like Galaxy execute only this region, not in Mumbai region. Okay, we can launch this through cloud launch, but we need to set this in Virginia. So this is like putting all together in one frame, how we can use this. It's a diagram where you can see the connections, how, what is the flow, and how it is dependent on each other. Okay, so let's understand security. So what all things we can take priority, like designed consist monitoring, then it should be automated process. Okay, so here you can see what exactly the responsibility for customer responsibility and AWS responsibility, because we are working with cloud. So the responsibility is also divided. Like here you can see the customer data, what exactly the platform, application, identity, access management, even on which network, which operating system we are working, what all firewalls configuration we set. So what data we are handling, then this network traffic. So these all things handled by AWS through this services like compute. We check this all things: compute, storage, database, networking, region also we can set, availability zone. Okay, now there is a IM, that is identity and access management. Here you can see the service securely control access to your AWS resource. The permission is like user, group, and role. Sorry. Okay, so IM basically, let me, so let's take example S3 for storage, Amazon S3, and that offers like flexible control, flexible access control for security or securing your data in that bucket. So S3 bucket, the concept, and you can set private and public access for that bucket and that object. So making them accessible only through the uh, authorized access, means authorized user, or publicly available if required. So access policies in S3 like bucket policies, and also this is IAM policies. This one is IAM policies, that is identity and access management. Okay, so these are basically for fine permissions, means if you want to allow control, like who can read, then who can write, who can delete the objects or the data, under what condition, even we can enhance the security and compliances as well. So this is for that purpose. Okay, so default public and access policies, you can see here who can access what. This S3 bucket policies mentioned user A and B. If there is a controlled access, then the owner default is own. If it is a default system, then what can access by owner in private and public, like this. Clear this? So now Trail, AWS Cloud Trail. So what exactly Cloud Trail service? You can see here who, what, when, and where. So this service is basically record and also log all APIs. API activities, API management events across your account AWS account, and also provide history of action, what you have taken, like what all users, what all roles, what all services provided. So this logging into details like who accessed what resource, then from where they access, because we set the region from where they access and when they access. Okay, so all these things are there, and making this valuable for auditing or compliance purpose. Even you can monitor for security monitoring, we can say. So cloud trail allows you to track all these things, track changes, even detect any unusual activity happens. So this is used for investigating or simply security purpose, handling incidents, and also helps to maintain all these things, maintain control over this AWS environment. So it is a security relevant information. Backup. Trust advisor. So trust advisor is again service and which provides real time guidance. Real time guidance means what? When basically it helps to optimize your infrastructure. Okay, means what handled by this advisor? You can see here cost optimization, performance, security, fault tolerance, and also service limit. Means this trusted advisor analyze your account and also give recommendations on how to reduce the cost, even how to improve your system performance, and if there is need to enhance the security or increase the reliance, then also it will guide, as it is a advisor from AWS. And also offers some core checks like additional check, we can say, like for business or enterprise support plan. We have set the personal plan, but if it is an organization, then there are some business and enterprise support plans for customer. So basically this trusted advisor help to ensure AWS environment, like what exactly the best practices and how we can use this and remain efficient and secure throughout the situation. So for this, these all things are there. So let's open your account. We'll try hands on how to launch EC2 instance, and which instance we can launch, we'll see. Let me share. Okay, so I hope it's visible. You can open, login, set the region. It's already set, I think, yesterday. Those if you have not created account, they can observe right now and they can later practice. So just go to dashboard or just go to services, all services if you want to check. Like this, you can see in compute, we can use this EC2 Elastic Cloud or virtual cloud, we can say container. This is S3 we talked about. Let's open EC2. So if you run any instance previously, then you can see here instances running. If you have a host, key, security groups, if you have created any, then instances. So just try to terminate everything after use. Okay, if you stop, that will stop for that particular means time period, but it will again activate. So just try, if after completing your work, you just try to delete or terminate. Done. So let's create. So I'll guide here how to create and how to launch instance. So for that, we are here in EC2 dashboard. Okay. If you scroll down, you'll get this option, launch instance. Or if you want to check what all instances, like here you can see there is one running instance, and so you can open this instances and you can see which running instance is there, what is the name when it is created, and all the details. So let's try to install. So need to click on this orange button, launch instance. Okay, so in this hands-on, we will see how to launch instance, and we'll see the options. The options will be there. We'll select one of this, and for that we need to create key pair. We need to set public private keys, even SSH. So all these things will use. So just need to click launch instance. This navigate to this page. You can see this page where there is an option launch an instance. Amazon EC2 allows you to create virtual machine or instances that run on AWS cloud. Okay, so quickly start with this. So first we need to create our instance name. By that name we can launch the instance. So here I'm keeping name as this is demo instance. So let's write test demo. So by this name, this instance will generate. Okay. Now moving toward next point, that is application and OS image. OS means operating system. So which operating system, which flavor you want to select, and that will select here. You can see the options. So MI, what is AMI? That is Amazon Machine Image. You can see the long form here. Amazon Machine Image. So this is nothing but a pre-configured template where information required to launch instance on EC2 is available. You can read this later in detail. So to know more about this, because when I click on this, it will again navigate to the another page. So I just read this later. So basically, AMI includes the operating system like Amazon Linux, Amazon Linux, Mac OS, Ubuntu. There are many more. Windows, Red Hat. Let me scroll. So these are different operating systems that are available, along with essential libraries and some additional software, or you can say configuration, which make it easy to launch these all instances for specific purpose. Like if suppose as a bioinformatician, which one is required? Most of the time we use Ubuntu, right? Why Ubuntu? AMI basically useful when we want to set environment with pre-installed software, pre-installed libraries, which are required for basically genomics application, computational biology, or simply data analysis task. Okay. So MI is simply snapshot of system configuration. So here you can create your new virtual service from this EC2 instance, like whatever identical software or configuration. So we need to mention which operating system, what application server, what all libraries. There are in that particular operating system pre-installed software and tools and libraries are there. Configuration setting, like what exactly environmental variables or any setup options. Suppose data storage volume, that all things we we can select. Again, if I talk about this MI, so I think it is mentioned or not. So MI, there are three types of MI, like public AMI. Public means all AWS user can use this, and this is a for generic operating system like Ubuntu or Amazon Linux. Here you can see the options. Then AWS Marketplace is there. This is pre-configured with some software applications, like some bioinformatic tools are there, or it's like a third party vendors. Okay. And some custom AMI as well as the are there also. So custom means you can create by your specification. So anyone can create their own AMI by their configuration, what instance they want, and then save to this an AMI. Okay, so this is again reproducible environment. We can use this. So first we need to select what configuration or which operating system or which pre-configured AMI we want to prefer. So here I'm selecting Ubuntu. Okay, let's click on this Ubuntu. So this is very commonly used for bioinformatic application, as we can use open source tools and applications. Even deep learning application we can perform on this data analysis and processing. Okay, so here you can see the name, the current which is available. As we are using free tier, so this is the one which is available. I'm not changing anything. Here is the architecture, ID, username. Okay. Now there is an instance type. So T2.micro. What what exactly T2.micro? This is for testing purpose, because very short and for demo purpose we can use it. There are many more like large scale instance type we can generate, but here we can select this first, which is for applicable for free tier eligible. Because we are using for testing purpose and for larger data set, if you explore, there is a M5 dot large for heavy type of processing and all large scale analysis. Okay, this is the thing which we have selected. Now time to select key pair. Key pair is what? As we are launching our system on EC2, so AWS can handle key, and also we need to create our key. So both keys we need to match, as we already learned private and public key. Okay, so here we are going to create new key pair, so we can use this to connect with SSH. So how to create? Just need to create new key pair. Here you can create key, what we have created, demo EC2, any name you can provide. So this is our key, so I'm writing key pair, demo EC2 key pair. Now this is name. By this name it will download in your system, and that you can use whenever we want to connect to SSH. Okay, so key pairs, these all things we need to keep default, that is RSA, and private key file format PEM. Done. After launching this Ubuntu AMI, you can manually install different tools like based on your requirement. But before that, you need to connect this SSH into this instance and then install tool like BWA, SAM tool, FastQC, even our tools like bioconductor packages. Okay, like sudo apt, the same command which you use on Linux. Sudo apt install tool name. Even you can install Python libraries, but for installation of Python tools and libraries, we are going to use pip command, pip install biopython. Okay, okay, I hope until here it is done. So let's select this key. Okay, and then create key pair, so it will download. Here you can see it is downloading demo EC2 key pair. So our key is ready. Now switch to next, that is network setting. So network setting means we have to set, so as we are using free tier, so let's set this default one, that is firewall. This is very basic session for EC2 launching. So we are not setting any advanced this VPC and all these things. VPC subnet. So here firewall security we have set by using create security group. And then this is most important, allow SSH traffic form. You need to click on this And here there are options like from where you can access: anywhere, custom, my IP. So what exactly these all things, and why we need to keep this allow SSH traffic form. So allow SSH traffic form means it is easy to access, and from anywhere you can access, as we have not mentioned IP address. It is 0.0.0.0. So basically it make easy for multiple users, multiple participants, or multiple trainers to access that particular instance, okay, without having any configure or any specific IP address. So when we are performing any training sessions, or like participants wants to connect for that particular, we are sharing something on that platform, so that time we can use such kind of things. Or if you want to specify, or you just want to sensitive data want to work, then specify this address. So from that particular address you can access this instance. Okay, this is the first one. Anywhere is minimize setup basically time. Or suppose like large group accessing the same instance, or trainees accessing the same instance, then anywhere we can select for the short term period or temporary purpose. Clear this? Now just go down, configure storage. So this is also need to keep default, don't change your 1.8 and GP3. So these all things are there. In advanced details, we are not going in detail with advanced details, just keep as it is whatever default selected. After these all things completing, just let's check what all things we have filled. So demo, this is the name, we selected this Ubuntu. Here is the version you'll get for general purpose, and instance type, which is free tier eligible. Then we need to create key, so we can connect, use that key as our private key when we are using to connect to SSH. So these all things, and need to click on this launch instance. So this instance will generate. Here you can see launching instance. Please wait while sorry. So successful initiated means this instance is generated. Now how to check? So this is the instance ID. Whatever instance you have generated, the ID is this. So if you want to check instance details and how to use that instance, how to connect, how to like how to use this SSH client. Okay, so for that, or simply just if you want to check what all instance and how it is created, so either you can click on this or just search here EC2 and click on this. Here you'll get, previously it is 1, now it is showing running instances 2. Or you can click here as well on instance. So this is the first, right now we have created demo EC2. Okay. If you don't want any more this EC2, so just click here. Okay. Okay. This is right now we are running. So let me show how to delete. So this is also one test EC2. So just go here, select test EC2 instance, and in instance state, if you click stop instance, it will just stop for temporary purpose. So you need to click on terminate or delete instance. And in more, there are some options like if you want to check the setting, security, and all details about this instance. So let me terminate this. This way we can terminate. Here is the ID of this previous instance, and then terminate or delete instance. So you can see successfully initiated termination, and then you can it will take time. So after that you can see the status shutting down or terminated, like this. So the second one is running. So let's click on this to see detailed. Detail means what? All ID, then public ID, private ID, then what all things we can observe here: host name, okay, VPC ID, subnet ID, every detail we are getting here. Which platform we selected, details about that platform, AMI ID, then AMI name, launch time, what exactly the name we have set for our key. Because for each instance we can set different key, so for this instance we can see the details related to that instance. Okay, now suppose if we want to connect this instance and want to work, so simply we can connect through terminal. Okay, so for that what is required, this is the details about this EC2 instance, or from dashboard you can check here. Just click on this, and now see, only one instance is there. Okay, so let's see how to connect with that instance. Let me open this. Okay, so here you can see option connect. Can you see? So whenever we want to connect any instance through SSH, let's select SSH client. This window will open. You can see here from EC2 the generated instance, the instance ID, and now connect to the instance. So connect to instance. Here are the options and steps are provided. Even example is given. So first we need to open SSH client, means this step. Locate your private key, because we have our own key and AWS have one key that is a public key. So the key used to launch this instance is demo EC2. This is the name which we have created, right? Now we need to run this command if necessary to ensure your key is not publicly viewable. So we can copy this command and then we can open terminal. So let me check what all keys are there. So when we want to use this, here we can check, means first we can copy this key, or let me show. So here you'll get access control, like what all things we can do: read, write, then edit, execute. So these all options are there. Demo key pair dot pem. So we just want to read, suppose, or any particular thing we want to set security purpose. So for that we can use, or so we have already copied that key. So let me copy again. For change mode, change the access control, we can use this command. I think you all are aware about Linux command, basic Linux command, how to change mode, how to switch directory and all those things. So through this, we can switch or check the permissions allotted to this. Okay, this is a previously copied pair. I need to copy the key pair which we have downloaded right now. Okay, so let me explain first. Here, first we need to change the mode, read, write, execute mode, and then suppose we want to set for reading purpose only. So we just need to use this command, and which is not publicly viewable. So only read access will be there. And then we can connect to instance by using public DNS. Okay, domain name service. So this is the next command. For example, it is given. So just need to type SSH after after removing this all permissions, and -I, and copy this command as it is like this, and paste into your terminal, execute. So it will display message like what all IP addresses associated or allotted after this command, after this key we have pasted. So these all details we can verify with our EC2 details, from our EC2 instance details from here. So we can match the IP address which is allotted through this SSH. And after completing the use, you just need to type exit, EXIT, exit in this terminal. So you will exit from the instance, or simply for exiting, you can use or terminate from here as well. So you can work with your regular terminal, which is your system associated. Okay, so like this. So this is all about how we can launch instance. You can try, but keep in mind, after use, you just stop it or terminate it or delete it. Okay, so this is all about security, networking, and EC2, how to launch EC2 on AWS. So as we wrap up for this day 4, we have covered all this powerful AWS services and also practiced for how to optimize, how to secure, manage cloud environment. Okay, so tomorrow we'll dive deeper into again with some more or some advanced tools. So practice till here. If you have any problem, if you have getting any error or any issue, so you can share. Okay.